What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you are, remember to crush that thumbs up button below this video. And if you're not, also remember to do that because, hey, either way, it makes me happy. Red Dead Redemption 2 is easily one of the best games I've ever played, at least in the modern era. You could argue that it is the best or not the best, but I don't think there's any arguing that it's in the top 5 or 10 games of the PlayStation or on console currently. There are some issues with it, of course, given the aging engine and the fact that we're still waiting for a PC port. But overall, Red Dead Redemption 2 is, I think, provably an excellent game. Where things are going downhill is the Red Dead Redemption Online offer, the Red Dead Online, full of an assortment of problems. I've asked just you, the viewers who follow me at thequartering on Twitter.com, to share some of your opinions before we get into the articles, or I will say sharticles, about a variety of things. Now, the thing is, this game has sold almost 25 million copies. This is really indicative of the games industry today. Nearly 25 million copies sold. It's still not enough. The stock for Take-Two Interactive is going downhill, and it's primarily because of Red Dead Online isn't making all of the money. Some of the things you said about it: more waypoints for long. People say you're not being helpful, just complaining. So I thought, well, I really enjoy Red Dead, and why not share some feedback with the Rockstar team in this video, or also fans? I'm sure there are people who are enjoying Red Dead Online. Some critiques: more waypoints for long distances so horses don't have to travel them, less of a buy to win mentality, having a reputation should actually mean something. I'd actually like to play it, but griefing is too bad. That's ultimately the overwhelming complaint. Griefing. They promised, not unlike our politicians, that they would fix the griefing issue. We should be patient, so their brand of salvation would be bestowed upon us, and it would be so good. So what did they do? They instituted daily challenges that encouraged griefing. It's horribly empty and boring. On top of it all, you have to burn through what little there is, a whole bunch, to get nice stuff that isn't paid for in gold, meaning, the grind is real, so you've got to burn through everything that's there in order to get the good stuff. It's boring and tedious. They need to add more mission variety. You end up doing the same few grindy tasks repeatedly for no real gain. The amount of player griefing they are encouraging with daily challenges and such to hunt down people in free play. Keep in mind, that's part of it, of course. The fact that to do the simplest thing in the world, to give us an option for private sessions, would solve so many problems. They need private lobbies. How unfinished it feels and how unplayer friendly it is. This is a good statement here too. I don't have enough time to really explain, but what comes down to this: what worked in GTA Online doesn't work in Red Dead Online. My biggest problem is it feels empty. Why are we so limited? I know it took years, but GTA has a ton to do. And everything from antique cars to 80s cyberpunk stuff. I know steampunk is old news, but it would at least be open door to fun collectibles, I think. Very boring. Game words aren't fun. It incentivizes griefing an outlandish extent. So you could see, Rockstar, you should just read through this thread. Really boring, not worthwhile content, big grind fest. Worst of all, no poker. Interesting. And what this is leading to is an article that came out just last week. And is Red Dead Redemption Online tanking Take-Two's share price? By any reasonable standards, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a runaway success. 23 million copies of the game have been shipped to retailers as of Take-Two's earnings call at the start of February, making it into one of the best-selling games of the generation after only a few months. With hugely positive critical response, likely ensuring a long tail for the game, it's overall a very solid achievement. Nevertheless, shares in Take-Two have declined by 30% since the game launched at the end of October. Part in what is an overall malaise in video game shares, certainly, but all the more remarkable since the successful launch of RDR2 and its subsequent sales performance have barely even moved the needle. If you're an employee of Take-Two or an investor, you might be reasonably find yourself shaking your fists in the direction in general of Wall Street and asking what on earth these people actually want. if you're doing an outstanding job developing, publishing major video games, and what the stock market wants to see developer and publisher of video game doing, then what precisely would actually make them happy? This is an issue. It is an issue because I think this is going to serve as a disincentive for large publishers to put, a 4 or 5 year cycle time in on a game if they can't then quad monetize it using some online mode afterwards. By all measurable standards, and sure, not everyone loves Red Dead Redemption, but by all reasonable standards, the game was a huge success. Okay, the overwhelming majority of people really enjoy the game. Unfortunately, it's not enough for the stock market, which is going to affect their decisions, of course. Of course. You're looking for a slice of years-long console generation spanning business that'll snowball its software sales out month after month and draw players back in to buy premium currency bundles again and again. If you're a consumer, you may be feeling like that really doesn't describe RDR2 as you know it. If you're an investor, the 30% drop in Take-Two Interactive since the launch of the game suggests that you might be coming around to understanding that as well. Take-Two, for its part, now does seem to be focusing a fair bit of energy on the online aspect of the game, but it wonders if not flogging a dead horse, there's very little to suggest that RDR Online has sparked interest among players in the way that GTA did. What a few posts can find online made popular gaming forums lately seem to revolve around complaints that Take-Two Interactive's updates focused on tweaking the in-game economy to make paying for things with real money more appealing at the expense of earning currency through in-game activities. It's hard to confirm. This is, I would say, in general, this is a fair consensus. If we go all the way back to Eurogamer here. Red Dead Online update falls short of fixing griefing and the economy woes. RDR Online beta is still trunding on, and with it, the continued complaints about griefing, the in-game economy, microtransactions, lack of content. This week, the game received a major update, and despite specifically seeking to address destructive player behavior, the update has received criticism for failing to fully address griefing problems and actually encouraging aggressive play. Now, this is interesting. It seems like, maybe the folks at Rockstar thought that fans of Red Dead Redemption or Red Dead, the series, would want it to be more like a PvP, but a lot of people just want to go about their business and have fun in the Wild West. That's the type of player I am as well. When I played the game, I rarely interacted with regular folks just going about their business. At O'Driscoll's, I made sure I handed them a steaming hot pile of justice anytime I saw them. But I just liked to go about my business. Now, that's not every player, but that's me. So I definitely can relate to these types of complaints. If I was spending hours and hours grinding, and then I went to town to try and sell something, and I was just getting overrun every time I went to the shop to sell by griefers, I wouldn't want to play the game either. On the griefing front, Rockstar has managed to make some positive changes, including tweaks to the parlay system. Previously, you had to be killed several times before given the option to parlay or feud. Now players have the option to parlay after one death, meaning you can instantly opt not to be damaged by the posse or damage them for 10 minutes. Beyond this, players with consistently aggressive behavior are now being marked in red on the map and minimap, while peaceful players only show in very close proximity. Those who are constantly aggressive can now rack up considerable bounties and trigger NPC bounty hunters to appear. In theory, all of this should help, but unfortunately, other aspects of the update directly undermine it. The introduction of daily challenges mean players are encouraged to kill one another to gain rewards. Meanwhile, should you choose to shoot someone in the first act of self-defense, you will be marked as a griefer on the minimap, sometimes causing confusion as to who the griefers actually are. From my own experience in Freedom over the past few days, I found that some of the updates features were genuinely helpful. The instant parlay option, for instance, is invaluable in preventing specific players from repeatedly targeting you. Why don't you just let people choose whether or not they want to do PvP or PvE? I mean, doesn't that seem like an easy option? Or to have private lobbies so you can round up your own posse as a way to protect yourself? The cause of the aggression is partly because it's so easy. While take the chance someone else might shoot you, you can shoot them first. On top of this, there are few reasons to interact with players outside your posse other than violence. In addition of daily challenges only adds further incentive to randomly take out other players. Unfortunate. I get that they wanted to keep this, kind of true to the Old West and the dangerousness of it all, but I don't think that players are exactly happy. The Red Dead Online update tried to make people nicer. It's resulted in a merciless deathmatch. For all that many cowboys are enjoying it, there's a lot more grumpiness about Red Dead Online, and some other players say the new update has actually managed to make the problems it already had slightly worse. The idea was to stop destructive player behavior by griefers, players who are mostly in it just for causing irritation, who are running around the Old West, taking people at random, and to make it the whole place a lot nicer. A more caring environment. Well, I don't know if I would want that out of it, but I think that players should have a pretty easy option to opt out of this, don't you think? If a huge portion of your user base is complaining about griefing, that's a problem. People are going to get frustrated and go play something else. There are so many options. I saw one person tell me that basically Red Dead Online isn't worth the time, that there's just, the griefing is so demotivating and there's just so many other options. And you know what? It probably hurts it that Red Dead Redemption 2 was so good that people already feel satisfied. They're not looking necessarily for more content for their $60. Here we have Red Dead Redemption 2 multiplayer shock Red Dead Online updates news for Rockstar. RDR2 multiplayer recently received a big update that changed RDO in a number of ways, but a reveal this week confirms some shocking news for Rockstar Games. RDR2 Online has seen a drop in number of players on PS4 and Xbox One, according to a new surprise report. Having pulled off a winning coup with the release of RDR2, Rockstar didn't wait long to release multiplayer mode. RDO remains in beta while fans saw new content go live on PS4 and Xbox One. A number of players want to see more content released this month. Okay. Rockstar will be hoping that players will stick around to see what they have planned. RDR2 in 2019, they have already seen a dip of player numbers. A new report revealed this week concerning how well RDO is performing for parent company Take-Two Interactive. According to SuperData, monthly active users in RDR2 dropped in January compared to highs of December. The new report confirms that revenue also fell in January compared to past levels, and the game is still some way behind GTA Online. This shouldn't be surprising. GTA Online has a huge amount of content available. Shark cards still rule the day, but the report also reveals that with some added strength of RDO and its player base, combined revenue for both games was only comparable to GT Online in January 2018. The latest information from SuperData reveals RDR2 online revenue fell by 14% month over month, January due to declining MAU, monthly active users, I assume that stands for. Combined sales from both RDR2 online beta and GTA 5, which makes about 5 times more than RDR2 from in-game spending, were flat year over year. Interesting. This is what is going to happen. This is going to continue to happen unless Rockstar gets their stuff together. I think if I'm Rockstar, if I can make a suggestion to them, at this point, I would say, look, hot fix the griefing. Allow players to opt in or opt out into that, at least in the short term, or give people a more reasonable window to protect themselves, because the last thing you want, especially, is the grinders, the people that are, actually trying to get loot and go to the shop and sell stuff, to be demotivated from that. I don't know if they think that, that's going to cause people to just spend more money in the online shop to buy better goods because they can't grind. I don't know. But certainly at this rate, the Wild West is just going to be full of a bunch of outlaws, and it's not going to be fun for anybody at all. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.